Anyway, all right. So this is the latest Mark Rober video. I'm super curious about this. I've always been more into software engineering, but there is something about just physical engineering projects that are really cool, and I think that's basically what this video is. It's called I've got a huge secret hiding behind this fake office, and I will just let him tell you what it is.
That the average person will never find, because the only way in is through this fake old dusty office. But I'm gonna give you guys a hint. And if you want a small taste for what's inside, well, this is a tennis ball cannon, and this is my childhood hero Nitro from the TV show American Gladiators.
Dude, I loved American Gladiators. Did anybody else watch that? That was actually like one of my goals as a kid, was to one day be on American Gladiators. It was basically like almost like Fall Guys in real life with a lot less people. But there were these 10 or so people that were the gladiators, and they're just like really skilled athletes, and you had to play like mini games against them. Basically, there was like tag, there was like try to like throw balls into buckets while they were trying to tackle you, and whoever got the most points won. And the one with the tennis ball gun, there's basically this like obstacle course with stuff to hide behind, and that's what they're showing here. And you could like duck behind it, and so you had to go from like cover to cover. But yeah, they had a tennis ball gun and were trying to like shoot everyone that was trying to like move forward. It was crazy.
Shoot me with the tennis ball cannon from the show as I try and not get shot. The only problem is I've made some modifications to the cannon, and it shoots tennis balls stronger than the original. Like, a lot stronger. But before we see
terrifying.
if I actually live, I'd like to introduce you to
Wait,
my
why
brand
would
new
you-
Willy Wonka factory for engineering
Okay.
I've been secretly designing and constructing over the past year and a half. Not only have I been making all the builds for my YouTube videos
That's
here,
crazy.
but it's also the birthplace for the most ambitious thing I've ever done, which I'll show you in a few minutes. It's got secret passageways,
good
and
teaser.
$10,000 in a glass suitcase if you can fire a tennis ball into the bullseye, the world's longest Hot Wheels track, rooms that magically reveal themselves, and a handful of some new engineering inventions that I came up with just for the lab.
This is
Since I was
such
like
a
8
like
years old, I've had this
engineer's
dream to
playground.
design and build my own
This is-
warehouse, and this is it. Welcome to
Why am I
Cribs
not
Labs.
surprised at all
So
that this
today,
exists?
I'm going to walk you through my 10 favorite things about this place, and then at the end of the video,
course, have
I'll
to
explain
have
how
the
you
golden
can
play
actually
button.
come out here to build with me and my team for a day. With that,
Dude,
let's
I
jump
wanna
right
do
into
that.
number 10,
Wait,
which
there's
is
a
basically
Denny's claw
a way
machine.
better version of a fireman's pole. Now, the best thing about a fireman's pole is that it's more exciting than using the stairs. But other than that,
never used
they
a
kind of
actual
suck.
fireman's
I either do
pole.
the thing where I hit the ground too fast and burn my hands, or I do the thing where I sort
Yeah.
of squeak my way down and I
That seems
still
very
burn my
inconvenient.
hands. So I thought, what if you could walk off the balcony holding a rope that ran through some pulleys and was connected to some kind of counterweight? Well, that works great, and you land at the perfect speed as long as you weigh just a little bit more than the counterweight. But unfortunately, if you weigh less, you're not gonna go anywhere, and if you weigh too much more, you're still gonna land with a crash. If only there was a way to have a perfect soft landing no matter what you weigh. Well, it turns out there is. Using the
What?
power of pneumatics. This is actually the same tube and piston
course.
we used for the last Devil's toothpaste explosion. Only this time we just let the natural restriction of the air having to squeeze by the piston slow you down. So instead of the fireman's pole, we got the fireman's piston.
that's so
it's so
cool.
fun, and you basically feel like a superhero every time you use it. But more importantly, it works the same no matter
wanna
what
do
you
that.
weigh. Here's a family friend who weighs half as much as I do, and she sticks the landing
Yeah,
like
pneumatics
a pro
have not
just the
been
same.
my favorite
Next
thing.
Up, if we walk over here, we see
Wait, that's so cool. Can I get one of those installed? I don't have to take the stairs down. Could go down like 2 stories. If I installed on like the balcony, it'd go from like the 3rd story down. That'd be fun. Yeah, the mounts I have are also pneumatic. Or yeah, like whatever the right verbiage for that is. But yeah, that was fun to install. They actually recommended 2 people to like mount the monitors, so I was a little worried about that when I was going through, but actually wasn't too bad. So I was worried I was gonna have to call someone, which would have been fine if I knew that ahead of time, but I had already like completely tore down my setup and like got a bunch of stuff ready for it. And I was like, I need the monitors to stream, so I have to do something, but it all worked out.
Number 9, which is the Nerf Armory.
Of course.
This, of course, allows me to pick my
Never
weapon
been
of
a big
choice, and then
Nerf
to
fan.
perch myself up here on the balcony to keep an eye on my team and motivate anyone that I think just isn't working hard enough.
Jeez.
But you'll notice
Never
there's a
seen Nerf
second
gun
fireman's
fire like
piston
that.
over there. Only the rope on this one has a foothold and lowers half as slow, which means on the way down, you can get real Jason Bourne with things. Then number 8, we've got this cool hangout
Cactus
area on
pew
the balcony
pew.
overlooking the workspace. Of course, for
Yes.
entertainment up here, we got chopsticks. Hey, chopsticks, play me a
Hey,
banger.
he didn't burn.
Mwah. The perfect choice.
Enchanté.
Then right here we've got an original blueprint from a Mythbusters episode, a couch that transforms into a couch plus, as well as a chair that transforms into a chair plus. Then my super cool brother Brian made
That
this
seems
super cool old school
very
retro arcade
impractical,
game
honestly.
as a lab warming gift so I can play all the classics. Then we stole this claw machine from a Denny's and filled it with Fat Gus plushies, and it hides one of the secret passages into space, but I'll show you that one in a second.
Wait,
and now
what?
it's time for number 7,
course it
which
is.
next to the fireman's piston, showcases my second favorite way to make it down to the ground floor. Now don't worry folks, no Mark Rovers were hurt in the filming of this segment, because down below there was a shipping container with a giant foam pit!
Where did that come
And
from?
in addition to allowing for emergency second floor exits, it also allows you to up your Nerf battle game. But importantly, the shipping container is on wheels,
Like
which means
half
we can
of these
wheel it back
things
to its natural habitat in the arena room. And
are
giant foam
related
pits are awesome for
to the
many
Nerf
reasons,
gun.
but foremost among them is if you have a buddy who's a professional ultimate frisbee player, he can toss you some throws so you can try and be just like him.
Wow. That was a good catch. Dang.
Just be prepared that when he does it after you, he's gonna make it look much cooler. Coming in at number 6
Wow.
is all the engineering Easter eggs that we've hidden
Yeah.
around here. As an example,
There's a lot of
let's
Nerf
take
going
the bathroom,
around.
which I think we can all agree is usually pretty boring. First off, we found this regal portrait of what is ostensibly one of Fat Gus's forebears. But
Fat
if you look
Gus.
closely here, you'll see there's a magnetic contact switch and then a magnet
I missed
on
the
seat
squirrel
lid.
videos.
That's because men are pigs. And as long as the sensor detects the seat is in the up position, it will deploy this solenoid and keep the door closed. And now with nowhere to go, you've got plenty of time to reevaluate your terrible life choices. And then I've always loved the idea from this Far Side cartoon, which is like a hand wash detector. And the best thing about being an engineer is if there's a thing that doesn't exist and you want it to exist, you can just make it exist. So we have a limit switch here that gets
What?
triggered on the flush, and then a capacitive touch sensor here that knows if the faucet's been touched. And then finally a Hall effect sensor here that tells us if the door's open. And so if the Arduino under here detects that the toilet is flush and then the door has been opened without the signal the
This is
sink
so
has been
absurd.
touched between those two events, then this flashing light goes off and everyone knows who not to high five. Honorable mention.
That's so much work. Hey, Pele. How you doing, girl? Pele wanted to come watch the video with us. That one, that's so cool.
In the bathroom is the air freshener, which is actually filled with glitter bomb fart spray. Because subversion of expectations equals comedy. Then coming in at number 5 is how we actually keep the lab location super secret. If you were to walk in off the street or deliver a package here, this is what you'd see. And clearly whoever works here is not who you would expect would be hiding a high-tech, state-of-the-art Willy Wonka engineering lab. But when you turn this eagle, and the bookshelf slides over, revealing a secret passageway
told
down a
everyone.
hallway, ending on a dope view of my workbench. But there's an even more secret entrance hidden in this room. And you can only access it by putting a quarter in here and then pushing this button.
Diet
Climbing this
Pepsis are so
ladder
good.
not only
What
leads
if I
you to
actually
the
wanted
underside
Diet
of the claw
Pepsi?
machine where you can put yourself right in the mix of things. But then pushing right here means you've taken the shortcut straight up to the cool balcony hangout area. And I brought my niece and nephew out here to tour the place, and this was perhaps their favorite part, which just might have cemented my status in my ongoing quest to be the favorite uncle, were it not for my regrettable actions in the foam pit at the conclusion of the tour. Now I know what you're thinking. It's not exactly secret now that I've shown 20 million people exactly what the secret entrance lobby looks like.
I was
But after
thinking
this,
that.
I'm gonna give this place a complete makeover. So next time you find yourself waiting your turn at the barber, or perhaps stuck in the waiting room at the dentist office, you might wanna get up and just start moving everything around on display. Because the entrance to the Crunch Lab just might be behind that oversized tooth decay poster hanging on the wall. All right, so before we get to the final four in the countdown, like the world record Hot Wheels track or the hidden museum, or even how
so
you
much
can come
stuff
out here
in this
yourself, I
lab.
need to tell you about what else we do here, or why we even call it Crunch Labs. Three of my favorite things are teaching, coming up with new ideas, and getting people stoked about science and engineering, especially the young folk. And so for over a year, in addition to building this place, I've been working on a way to combine those three things. And here it is. It's called the Crunch Labs Build Box, and it's a monthly tour that gets delivered to you, where we build it together and then explore all the juicy physics that make it work.
These seem really
For a long
cool.
time,
I feel
I've
like
had
I
parents
would have
reach
really
out to
liked
me and
those
say, "My kid
as a
is
kid
8 or
if
12
they
years
were
old and they
existed.
love your videos. They want to be an engineer like you. How do I foster that passion? Like, what's the first step?" And I've just never had a great answer for that specific situation until now. Let's do an unboxing and see what's inside. Oh, and by the way, this is precisely where the toys are designed, right here in the Crunch Lab. In fact, this first one is this super cool rapid fire disc launcher. As you know, I love to take something humans do and then build a robot to help me do it way better, like with kicking field goals, skipping rocks, setting up dominoes, bowling, golfing, or even throwing bullseyes. Well, now you get to have the same feeling and build a machine that gives you superpowers versus someone trying to throw this frisbee with their own lame arm. What kind of superpowers? Well, I'm glad you asked.
Dang. Thing's got some heat on it. So it looks like it fires pretty accurately.
We engineered the crud out of this thing to optimize
impressive.
6 rapid-fire shots for maximum glide with maximum accuracy. You will dominate any mere human who tries to challenge your creation. So when you open the box, the first thing you see is a link to a video where I not only walk you through how to put it together step by step, but then we talk through all the physics and engineering juicy nuggets that make something like this work. It's like unlocking your own secret Mark Rober video every month, only it's better because you're right
so
there in the
impressive
trenches
what he
constructing
does.
your own build alongside me.
What would something like this for
to really
software
sink in.
development look
Basically,
like?
Bumps into all these stationary air molecules and it
Like, how do you get people excited
So for example,
about
on the disc launcher, we learn all about
hard
how
to compete
useful
with
flywheels
this.
are. And then each month you earn a gear badge with a different engineering principle, and at the end of 12 months, it will make a really cool gear train like this, at which point you unlock my signature to make it all official. So the first video is up in its entirety for free over on the new Crunch Labs YouTube channel, and I'll put a link in the video description so you can see for yourself that we're not cutting any corners here. And then in addition to the video, as backup, we've also got some simple booklet instructions. And as a nod to Team Trees, Team C's, and my buddy Mr. Beast, we maximize for sustainability in our material and packaging choices. Even the bags inside are
Makes
compostable.
sense.
And the disc launcher is just the tip of the iceberg. In another box, we built this super cool Rube Goldberg catapult, and the gear badge here is for projectile motion. Here's a robot guaranteed to outdraw your brother, where we learn about linkages. Or there's this coin spinner
Wait, I
machine
want
that gives
that
you the
one.
superpower of spinning a coin better than any human. And there we learn about ratchets. And you get 2 of them so you can compete in a Beyblade style fight to the last coin standing. There's a bunch more, but I want it to be a surprise for you, so rest
Beyblades
assured,
are making a
we designed
comeback.
our hearts out on every single last one. And just like it says on the box, my goal with Crunch Labs is to help you think like an engineer. That means you think critically. You could break a problem down into manageable steps. Thinking like an engineer makes you a better soccer player or piano practicer or
It's a
math
pretty cool
studier,
idea.
because you're resilient. You know, it's not only okay, but it's important to fail a bunch in order to hit that big breakthrough. That's why it's called Crunch Labs, so we can crunch and break and fail things so we can learn fast. That's literally the process of how I make every single one of my robots that eventually works out awesomely. There's just no better teacher than a good crunch, along the path to finding the best design. And any good engineer knows that's true. So if you want to fight that summer brain drain and embark on this year-long journey with me, go to crunchlabs.com/MarkRober, use the link in the video description, where as an early adopter special, we're giving away 2 months free. Supplies are definitely limited on this first run, so if you don't want to miss out, be sure to go check out our lovely website after this. Speaking of which, I've just got to shout out Shopify, because that's how we built it. They were super helpful, and I've been friends with them for a long time, and they give you all the tools to turn your idea into an actual business. All right, so continuing on with our top 10 list of the
let's see these top
things here at
4.
Crunch Labs. At number 4, if you look right here, we've got the start and finish line of the world's longest Hot Wheels track at over a half a mile. Here we go.
How?
Now the Crunch Labs is big, but not exactly half a mile big, which is why we had to employ some clever switchbacks to do the trick. But after doing one, we realized it only got us like 10% of the way there, so we scaled it up to fill an entire wall. Now we're employing over 75 of the official Hot Wheels speed boosters to help manage the balance of our potential and kinetic energies, because that's allowed in the rules. And it's just kind of fun to watch it go back and forth and back and forth.
Christ, doesn't fall off.
And so after we make it through the mouse hole...
Yeah, sorry, scroll down to copy the link. That's my fault.
And travel around the bend, we complete the loop, and set an official new world record. Next up at number 3, if you press this button you obviously shouldn't press, then these mirrors become see-through, revealing
Actually
sort of
surprised there's not a longer
storage room of
track.
of my previous
Some people
builds.
take Hot
And if you
Wheels
come through
so
this incognito
seriously.
door, you could even see them up close, including the automatic bullseye dartboard, all 4 glitter bombs, the original double iPad sweatshirt Halloween costume from my very first video, and a handful of other classics as well. Now before we wrap it up with the last 2 coolest things about this place, I just want to submit for honorable mention not only this bike with a legit train horn attached when the bell just isn't cutting it. Ah, that's loud.
Nope. No, thank
But
you.
also to the
I'll
brainstorm
pass on
room
that one.
that has walls covered in floor-to-ceiling whiteboards, which is a feature I stole from my favorite conference rooms at both NASA and Apple, as well as this decorative massive ant farm we built for the wall. It's fascinating to see how they organize and work together, like how both ant colonies instinctively have made a graveyard in the corner for all their fallen comrades. And now at number 2, we're back with the tennis ball cannon. After Nitro put it through the wall,
it'd be dangerous if actually we're using it.
we decided to give it the half-inch plywood test. And you can see it passed with no issues. Which meant we were left with just one more official scientific investigation to conduct. The water melometer.
That's a legit weapon.
Now, the cool thing here is, you might have noticed this glass suitcase attached to a chain with $10,000 cash in here. The deal is you can practice as much as you want, and I've even set up some additional targets for that purpose. But everyone gets only one official shot in their whole life to hit the bullseye and make it down the tube and into the box to unlock the $10,000 suitcase. So for the avoidance of doubt, when you're ready for your official shot, you just sign the wall, and now the pressure's really on. And as for Nitro,
I'm gonna be your worst nightmare.
oh, I love it. He's talking trash. Even though I did make him reduce the pressure to 1/5 full power. You're going down! I still took a beating. But at least I survived. And finally, the number 1 coolest thing about this place is you can actually come here. Every month before we ship out the Crunch Lab build boxes, I essentially cover my eyes, throw a dart, and then I open whatever box I hit and set this inside. It's called the Platinum Ticket, and if you happen to be the one who gets the box with the ticket inside that month,
Dude,
then
Willy
you and your
Wonka
family
is
get to
having
come
a
out
full
here and spend a
revival
day
this
with me and
year.
my team, making whatever crazy
Mr.
idea
Beast
it is you want
makes
us
an
to build
entire
together. And
chocolate
because I
factory.
repeat this every month, that
Mark
means you have a
Rover
new
makes
chance to win
engineering
it.
equivalent
and,
of it.
You know, I'm no statistician,
The
but
platinum
supplies are kind
tickets.
of limited on this first run, so early adopters really increase their chances of winning this thing right out of the gate. You can see a link to all the official rules in the video description. Whoa. So if you needed one more reason to get your build box so you could have fun hanging out with me a bunch this summer while you learn to think like an engineer, then there it is.
Luna's
So just head
turn.
to
Hi, Luna.
crunchlabs.com/MarkRober or use the link in the video description to get that early adopter special of 2 months free. I found that thinking like an engineer and having more of an understanding of the amazing world around us is such a lovely lens from which to experience
Lives a
life.
very
And
different
creating
life
that
to me.
spark in the next generation of big problem solvers is
It's
why I can't
crazy.
wait for you guys to see these dang boxes. Thanks so much for your
I
support
think I'll
over the
stick to
years,
software,
and thanks for watching.
but that's really cool. Well, there you have it. So crunchlabs.com if you have a niece or nephew interested in engineering, or son or daughter, or hey, could be a fun project for you, who knows. Yeah, that is what Mark Rober has been up to lately. There's the video if you want to go like, comment, support it. He does some incredible stuff, and it seems like a really good project to take on. So yeah, that was a really cool watch. Do like tennis ball cannon for like $10,000 is kind of cool. I don't know why. I really like things that are like you get one shot once in your life. You can't really practice too much for it. It's just like very high stakes. It's kind of just a cool thing in how you like sign the wall. I approve. But yeah, hope you enjoyed the video. Yeah, I think that's it. I'll see you next time.